Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle and you have reached my YouTube channel, Farm Girl Dry Goods. I have a lot to show you today. I have a lot of little finishes and some projects that I've been working on, and I have some knitting, some quilting, cross stitch, and wool applique to show you. So I'm going to get started pretty quick, but I just want to say I'm super excited. I'm leaving to attend the Nashville Needlework Market. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm making a pit stop in Ohio to a friend's house. I do my own artificial insemination on my goats. So if you don't know, I raise dairy goats and I breed them and show them. And so I do my own artificial insemination. And a couple years ago, I had my tank dry out. Wasn't paying attention to it. I have a service now that comes and fills it, but I lost some really valuable buck semen in that, and it was, I'm really disappointed. And my friend Billy has been kind enough to give me 5 straws of a really, he's an old buck, he hasn't been around for a long time, so his genetics are really limited because there's not a lot of straws left of him, and he's giving me 5. So I'm going to make a detour to Ohio to go pick those up, and then head to Nashville on Thursday morning, pick up Lisa at the airport, and then we're gonna hit the market. I'm super excited. Because I do the retreats, I've had the pleasure to meet a lot of the designers, but there are a lot that I haven't met as well, so I'm looking forward to that and just seeing a lot of friends. So I do have pre-orders up on my website. It helps me. These are pre-orders. I've already put them in, but if you're looking for a particular chart, it helps me know what to grab more of once I get there. So, and then Lisa and I are going to be pulling orders while we're there so that I can come home and get them shipped quickly, because when I get home, I have a couple weeks before my kidding season starts. So I don't have many does due, but I do like to be available for them. And my first ones, I always try and breed my yearlings first, so they have my undivided attention. So those girls will be going first. Didn't breed many this year. I think I just bred 6 or 7. I'm gonna have a few dry yearlings, which I usually don't keep. I breed my does at around 8 months old to freshen just when they turn a year. So most of these are February kids. I have a couple younger kids because I had some late kiddings last. Sorry, that's my iron beeping. I had some late kids last year, so I'm just choosing not to breed them because they're a little young and they'd have to be bred really late, and that whole cycle starts over again where everybody's kidding late and into May, and I just don't want to do that. So this year it's just March and April, and then I'm done. And my herd is really dwindling. We're really cutting back. So things should be much easier. Gary and I were just talking the other day, and remembering some years. I used to breed about 25 does, and one year we almost hit 50 kids. We stopped just shy at 49. And that was a lot. That was kind of at our peak. So 6 should be a breeze in comparison. But a lot of my friends, it's kind of torture because a lot of my friends already have babies on the ground. And we had a big snowstorm here. So anybody that had does due within a week, they all had babies. So anyways, I'm going to get started. Do I have anything else to tell you? I don't think so. Things are just moving along. We've been really busy. This is all we do now. Gary and I, and my husband and I both just do our Farm Girl Dry Goods business and the retreats. And then I have a Patreon. So that's keeping me very, very busy. And with market coming up, it's just really busy. So which is good. You know, it's always good to make that mortgage payment. So I have a lot of things to show you. I'm going to start out with, okay, I think we'll start out with some previous finishes. And then before I put my Valentine stuff away, I wanted to show you some of that too. But let's start with some Plum Street, because Paulette will be the featured designer at my retreat in May. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have done another retreat with Paulette, and that was the exclusive kit for that was Live on Little, which I'm going to finish that this year. I'm almost done with it. So I should have pulled that out to show you too. But so these she gifted me a few years ago when she released them, and they're so sweet. This is part of her stack series. So this one is Sheep Heap. And and sorry about the glare, I just can't do these videos without my glasses anymore. I can't tell if I'm in focus or not. But this one is Sheep Heap. And there's the back. Used a little bit of Lady Dot chenille trim. That's so cute. And Snort Stack. In the back. And then my favorite is Goat Load. And I don't know if the pattern called for it or not, but I put little udders on them. I don't know if that was in the pattern or not. So cute. And then, sorry about the hair. You know, we have 3 dogs and 2 cats in the house. So there's just hair. So this looks like an Alpine, a Nubian. The Nubians have the long ears. And then this is either a little Nigerian dwarf kid or Sanin. But the spots, it's like a Nigerian dwarf with moon spots. They're very sweet. And then I show you the back. So these I put in a little basket. They're going to go in a basket here that I have to show you. I'm going to swap them out. That my Valentine stuff is in there right now. And then she's got a couple others, Henpeck, and there's I think it's called Cow Pile with the cows. So I really like that. I like the farm animals, of course. And so I want to get those done, and that'll be a nice even group of 5. Then I have another previous finish. These I pull out in the spring, and then they kind of just hang out until fall, till I have more seasonal stitches. There's threads on these. So this is Stacy Nash, and this pattern I believe is called Anne's Sampler Pin Keep. And so this one, they're just so sweet. I'm pretty sure I changed the colors in here to be a bit more pink. My glasses, or they are they're a little dirty. I don't know what's worse. So that's so pretty. I love a berry bowl. And then look at Anne with her little dolly. So sweet. And then my backing fabric. And these are just adorable. I love these. And let's see. Oh, and then let's do some Valentine finishes. So this is a pattern by Maggie Bononomy. It was in a book, but it's been since release. You can buy it just as an individual pattern, and it's 2 little hearts. So that the one side is fabric and the other side is velvet. It has this little key. And I hang this on the doorknob, and my cats play with it, so it's in kind of rough shape. I noticed that they really took care of that ribbon. So this hangs in the doorknob in my bedroom, and they just like to play with it. But my favorite part are the buttons. So it was a kit, and there were quite a few buttons in there, but I made it a little bit longer. I probably added about half. And a lot of these are from my just vintage buttons, so they're kind of old and grungy. I think these were the buttons that came with it. Let's see here. And then you can see I added some that are bigger, and they're a little grungy, and they're really weighty. Like it's really heavy, and you can't really wear it around your neck because it does rip your hair out. So that's fun. And then I have a little metal tray that clamps to my coffee table, and so I do little seasonal wool applique mats in there, and this is my February one. So that is about to get put away. I actually don't have a March one. I have a summer one that I usually replace it with. It's got strawberries on it. But this is really sweet. And this is a buttermilk basin. And this is from, the pattern is, I'm not sure what it's called, but it says home on it. And then you switch out the little, so it spells H-O-M-E, and the O are all these little monthly mats. And I think it had a black backing on it, and I changed it to pink because I love pink. And so there's one for obviously every month, but I've only done this one. I don't have the whole kit. Like I said, I just put this in my little basket. And then I have my, this is I think it's a LaHaye's shaker box, or it came from the Amana Colonies, but I'm pretty sure it's a LaHaye's. And this is how I keep my little wool applique basket, and just put it out for display. And so this is just a little paper mache box. I did a tutorial on this on Patreon, and I just stick it in here. So I'll show you what's in here. So this is a buttermilk basin trio, and this came as a kit with all 3 pillows in it. So there's this little basket and lots of French knots in there. It's got some buttons and the backing fabric. And then the other one is a little spool and a thimble and same backing fabric. And then this one is a little heart. It's got some seam binding ribbon, a little rose. I love this backing fabric, or this wool. It's a wool. And it's got a little feather stitch in there. And then this one has, it's the same print. It's just a little bit more pink. And then also in my basket is, this is also another buttermilk basin, and this little needle book. It's so cute. So it ties with a seam binding ribbon here. And then, oh, just fuzzies everywhere. That's the beauty of wool. It just picks up everything too. So you open it up, and it's got a little floss holder. It's got a pair of scissors in this pocket here, and then some needles. So this is the inside. Isn't that cute? And this is the outside. Pretty simple. And then to fold it back up, put your scissors in. It just folds flat on itself. And then you have, tuck that ribbon in. And then you just tie it. So cute. I love that. Very clever. Let me put those away. So one last wool applique project. This is another buttermilk basin pattern. And it's got backing. And I just, I have a basket that hangs in my living room under a shelf, and I just stick it in there. Sometimes I stick it on a stick. There's like a little hole that I put in there, and put it in my big crock that I have in the living room with flowers in it, and just stick that on a stick in there. I like to change things up. I usually don't put things in the same place twice. I just like variety. Okay, then I have a little Valentine stitching to show you too. This is my Valentine projects that I have yet to get through, but I'll get there someday. So I'm working on love notes. I actually started this a couple years ago, and I misplaced it because it was in the back of this project bag with some other With Thy Needle and Thread Valentine projects. So this one is Valentine Sampler. So cute. Henry's knocking at the door. And then this one is Mary's Valentine Handwork. I really love this one. I know a lot of people don't like people in cross stitch, but I do. It's so sweet. And she has directions in here on how to finish this. I've seen a few other floss tubers that have been stitching this too, so I'm sure you've seen it. And what else is in here? Then I have another, all Brenda Gervais Valentine stuff. This one is My Valentine. And so I've been working on love notes, and I have it almost done. I didn't realize I was so close. So it has 5 little pillows. Let me show you that again. And I've got this one, and this one done. I'm working on this one, and then I just have that one to do, and I've got them all complete. And here is my progress. So here are the 4 that I have done. So this is the one that I'm working on. I must have lost a needle because this thread is through the fabric, but there's no needle on it. So I have a little bit left to do on that one. This is done in just DMC. I had someone comment that I say just DMC on my last video, and I just wanted to clarify. The only thing I mean by that is that it's easy to source. I obviously use it quite a bit, so I love DMC. So I just wanted to make sure I'm not making disparaging comments or anyone is taking that the wrong way. And there is Be Mine. That's so sweet. And then Love. So cute. So I have plenty of room here to do another one. And then I'm going to finish those into the little pillow finishes and probably use, I have these stacks of heart-shaped boxes that I covered. And I'll probably put those in a little bowl with those and maybe some wool applique hearts, so that'll be really cute. Okay, so let me figure out where to get started next. So I just want to show you some out of season finishes, but this is Cup of Christmas Cheer by Brenda Gervais. I bought this as a kit. It came with everything but the backing fabric, even the little pom-pom. And so I finished that one. I got this at Brenda, when she has done my retreats in the past, she's brought little pop-up shops and she has a lot of kits in there. It's really, really fun. And then I found some backing fabric that has all the same kind of bright cherry colors that are in the front. It's so cute. So I'm glad to have that one finally done. I've actually had it done for a while. I just needed to FFO it. And then, I think I've shown this before. This is It's My Country by La Di Da. And I had it filled with crushed walnut shells, and I didn't like how kind of schlumpy it was. So I just popped it open and restuffed it with some cotton batting, and I really like that much better. And backing fabric. So, and then speaking of the cotton batting, I did want to answer 2 questions that I got a lot from my last video. The first was about the cotton stuffing. Let me grab it. Okay, so a lot of people were curious what the stuffing was, and this is what I use, and I do carry this in my shop. I'll put a link below. It's Sweet Dreams, and this is what it looks like when you take it out of the package. So it's 100% cotton, and you can see there's little cotton hulls still in there. And I just wanted to give a tip when using this. I had a ton of people buy it last time. So just make sure that when you're using it, it's very dense. So you don't want to use it in anything that you're actually going to use as a pin cushion, because it is almost impossible to needle through. It's just so dense. So use it for pillow finishes and things like that. And then you're going to want to make sure, and you should do this really with any batting, whether it's wool or polyfill. I really, really prefer using natural fibers. On a very, very rare occasion, I'll buy some polyfill, but I just figure I have put so much money into the nice fabrics and threads that I use, and they're cotton and linen, that I just want to use a really nice batting. So just make sure that you're lofting it, because it is so dense. You'll have a hard time getting it into corners and things if you don't. And so lofting is just taking little bits and just kind of fluffing it up and getting it nice and fluffy. It'll look about 10 times bigger, your pile, by the time you loft it. You can see how quickly it grows. And then just start with your corners, stuff it in finely into your corners. And then just use small amounts. I use like a little pokey tool, like a chopstick. Actually, I have a stuffing tool that came with a bag of stuffing. And I've had it for years. Or maybe it is a chopstick, I don't know. But that's what I use to fill all of my pillows. The other question I had was, I quickly just kind of passed over it because I kind of thought I was the only person in the world left who didn't know how to correctly start your cross stitch. And the way that you do it is you want to make sure that the thread that you're going to cross over is not going underneath the horizontal thread. You want to make sure that the vertical thread that you're crossing over is going over the stitch on top of it. I put a diagram on Instagram, which I will put here too. And I was so shocked. I had like over 1,000 likes. But what really shocked me was, and I'll put a screenshot of that up here as well, is how many people saved that post. It was over 600 people saved that post. So I know I'm not the only one who didn't know that. So I wanted to make sure I pass that information on. You can go into Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, there's a little arrow or like a little flag under the picture. And you can actually press that flag and you are able to save posts like that. So that's how you save. And then you can just go into your profile and click on saved, and it'll show all the pictures or posts that you've saved. And so you'll have it there to reference. Now, it came from the Stitch Modern website, which I'll also link below. It's a great website, has a lot of great information. I just want to make sure I give them credit for that diagram. If you're a new stitcher, it's a fantastic website. It tells you all about the different fabric types and even weave versus linen versus Aida. Now this stitching technique, the other question I had was, does it apply to Aida? It doesn't, because the way Aida is woven, there are a number of threads. If you look at your fabric, is there like 4 or 6 threads that make up the weave? I'm not sure, or they may be different per brand. But they go over and under. So they're woven in a way that you don't have to worry about it. And with Aida, you're generally stitching over one anyways, which is why they do it that way, I'm sure. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. I think I answered everybody's questions. A lot of people asked for links and stuff, and I just didn't have one. So I had so many people ask, I just looked it up. So yeah, if you ever have any questions like that, let me know and I'll try and follow up on my next video. I know I don't do videos that often. They're very, very time consuming, and it takes a lot of work to get everything up here. And then the amount of time it takes editing is crazy. I think it took me a month to find the time to edit and like an hour-and-a-half video last time. So I wish I could be more regular. I also don't necessarily, like the last time I did a video, I didn't even stitch for a month afterwards. I was just knitting because there were some long days in there, and it's much easier for me to sit, and I just had the knitting bug, but it's much easier for me to sit and knit and just kind of mindlessly be able to whip through a project versus having to count if I'm tired. So let me show you a couple more previous finishes here. So these are part of the Animal Cracker series by Stacy Nash. I adore these. I want to do them all. Next on my list is Jenny Wren. I have that one all kitted up, and I also have Paisley and Paisley and what's her boyfriend's name? I can't remember. They're the little snowmen and snow lady. But this is Primrose, the little bunny, and this is Henrietta. And they're just so cute. They're very easy to finish. I have a tutorial of exactly how to finish it on my Patreon, but you literally just follow the directions that are in there. It's really easy. You just stitch, you sew around the border, leaving about 1/2 inch, and stuff them. And there's my backs. Primrose does come with a little basket to carry his carrots, but I did not finish them. I usually put these in a little bucket. I did put the back on Henrietta. Sometimes I put scissors in her. But so cute. They're just adorable, and they definitely need another friend. I have a couple more Christmas finishes, but I thought I'd show them anyways. So this is out of the Jingle All the Way book. I have now finished everything in this chapter, I believe. I've shown in previous videos my sugar plum pincushion. That's so cute and finished in a canning jar lid. And then this is the little Jingle Bell needle book. Isn't it adorable? And you open it up and you have a couple pieces of wool in here. So if you ordered the Jingle All the Way kits, these will come in one of the kits. And then the back is but it's just so cute. Her instructions are really great too. They're really easy to put together. And then the last in that chapter was this little sewing pouch. I finished mine a little differently. I just put the two pieces of fabric together and blanket stitched the edge. There's a little snap here, jingle bell, and you open it up and there's a couple pieces of wool, holly leaves to put needles, and then there's a little pocket. I love this because when you fold it up like this, your scissors can't fall out. So I love this. So that's super fun. It's just really cute. I have really, really loved that book. In case you haven't heard, Martingale Press, who publishes that book and also publishes many other books, from Kim Deal, Joe Morton, Susan Aki, Buttermilk Basin. So they announced that they are going out of business and no longer publishing. So all of those Martingale Press books are now out of print. So I would suggest you go through your stash, especially if you're a quilter, because they did primarily quilting books. And so I went through my stash. I didn't have to order too many, but I did get them on order. A lot of them were already out of stock on Martingale. And so I went to the secondary market and just got a couple, just to make sure I have them in my arsenal when I need them. But I do have Buttermilk Basin books on clearance on my website too. And they're discounted pretty deeply, so you can go check those out. So I'm going to show you some knitting projects I have. Now, I will admit that I did this video yesterday and had some memory issues on my camera and didn't realize that it cut a bunch out. And I didn't realize it until I was editing. So I'm refilming today, and I will confess that I did wear these socks to bed last night, but I have had them washed and blocked for weeks trying to get this video done. So I was like so grateful to be able to wear them. But so it's just a basic vanilla sock pattern, and I do a Eye of the Partridge heel. It just fits my heel so nicely. They're so pretty. Now, the only thing that was really disappointing about this, and this happens with hand-dyed wools, probably more often than not, is when I washed them, there was a lot of dye that came out, and it really muddied the colors. So I'll put a picture here of what they look like before I wash them, and you can see the color is really dulled down. And I'll show you what the water looked like. It was crazy how much dye came out of that. And a lot of it was the pinks and the reds. So a lot of those kind of washed out and they look really faded. So that was a little disappointing. But I still love the socks. They're super cute and super comfortable. And then in that vein, while we're on knitting, I ordered a knitting advent for 2021 through Legacy Fiber Arts, and Sue and Chelsea are the dyers. Sue is half of the Floss Toss team, and so she also does yarn dyeing with her daughter. They have really, really beautiful yarns. And so I ordered this advent, and I love this advent because it had a pattern with it. So a lot of yarn advents don't come like that. You just get mini skeins and you decide to do with them. But I love that there was a project with this one. So the project was a color work stocking. So that was super fun. And so while I started this in January, but the idea is every day you get another color, and the little 20-gram mini skeins come like this. They're the funnest, brightest colors, kind of vintagey bauble type colors. And so they're all numbered. You open one a day and then you just follow that row on your pattern. It does have a little picture of a stocking, but it's just drawn. It's not the actual stocking. So it's really fun to see what comes next. So day one, you start with your cuff, and day two, you got a blue, and then there is a skein of vanilla, really pretty vintagey white color. that you just carry through the whole stocking. So I got up to about here, and then I panicked a little bit because I was like, what? This was actually before I washed my stockings, but I panicked a little bit because I'm like, these are really bright colors. What if they bleed? So I washed and blocked it. And as you can see, there's zero bleeding and there was zero color in the water. None. It looked, it was fabulous. So you can see this is, I think a lot of these are probably merino wools, superwash merinos. And when you knit, when you get the yarn wet and you wash it and block it, it remembers however you dry it is how it's going to stick. It has that it's a very, very fine wool with a lot of crimps, so it has a lot of memory to it. So, and I'm just saying that because I'm going to show you the rest of it, and it has not been washed and blocked yet. So, it has a tendency to get a little puckery looking. So here's where it's blocked to about here. And I wish I did change up a couple colors and like a dummy. I wasn't even thinking. I switched the red and the green because I didn't want the purple next to the red. I wanted to kind of go have a lot of contrast between the colors. And what I should have done is just switched the whole rows and done this one up here in the green because this was supposed to be candy stripes and I totally blew that by using the red down here instead. But, and then I did switch a couple others. I wish I would have switched. I don't know if this was the original color or not. I should have just followed it. But I'm hoping that once it's blocked, you'll be able to see those pretty snowflakes a little bit more. So right now you can see the texture is, it looks a little odd, but it just really mellows out once you block it. So, and it's long. This is, and I'm about to the heel toe now, to the turning point, and then just doing the foot of the stocking. But it's so cute. It's really fun. I love the colors. It's very cheery. And for color work, it's not difficult. They're short rows for the most part, so pretty easy to memorize. I have one more Valentine finish that I forgot to show you. This is so stinking cute. So this is a little red velvet cake, and this was a kit we did in Patreon. This is a pattern by Just Another Button Company. It is exclusive to them. You can only get it through shops. I don't know if you can still get it on their website or not, but they did theirs with a needle felted wool, you know, the sheets. And I kitted these up with a woven wool. Like, I just like that a little bit better. And it's so stinking cute. And then I did a tutorial, and I saw a couple people have made theirs as well, and they're just fun. It came with all the buttons and all the wool to make the flower, and there's a little whipped cream on there, and then these wool hearts, and then you got an exclusive little pin set that came along with it too. And these are limited edition. They're not available on our website. And then all the buttons, it's just so cute. And then a little pom-pom trim for the icing. It's so cute. And then what I did with mine is I put all of my little accessories here on pins. So you can stick in there and move them. Same thing with the hearts and even the whipped cream, so that you can use them as counting pins too, or you can move them around. And then it's set on this little mini cake stand. It's just adorable. I filled mine with crushed walnut shells, so it's pretty weighty. But yeah, so that was really cute. Okay, then I'm going to show you some finishes. Oh, I have a couple more previous finishes. So this is Sweet Summer Come Again by Blackbird Designs. So pretty. The one thing I don't do is mess with Blackbird colors. I use all the called for all the time. I just love their color palettes. They're kind of soft and vintagey. And I have this kind of berry colored fabric on the side, just matches perfectly. It looks like it's got like little berries on it. And then the bottom. So that is a sweet little drum. This one is filled with sawdust, so you can kind of move it around. It's nice because you can get the puffy, kind of a puffy top with those. And then there's also a tiny little needle roll that came with that one as well. And I did that. I just think this is the cutest thing. Isn't that adorable? And then it's got the same fabric on the ends. It's like a big cigar. So those go in my retreat box. So I got this box. There's a top on it too. I don't know. There's a truck going by. So if you can hear Ivan howling and then Duke howls along with them. Sorry about that. They'll settle down in a minute. But this box came from, it's just a paper mache box that we painted from Country Sampler. And in the, at the retreat, we got 3 patterns from Blackbird. This is the drum, Garden Morning. And then there was a little matchbox, and that is here. And then you mount that little house, and it's stitched 1/1 on a Lugana. I didn't do that, so I'll show you my finish in a second here. And then there's this really pretty little button bag. And these patterns are now all available in the Sewing Club book. So you get these 3 patterns and you get 13 more. So for this year, what I'd really like to do is kit up the rest of them in that book and have a dedicated project bag for that so that I can add to my box here. But I'll show you what I have. So this is my button bag. It's so sweet, and it's got a little seam binding ribbon that you use to close it. I left mine pretty long. And then that lining fabric is this really pretty fabric. And the backing fabric is just so pretty. So this is the called for linen. It's a picture of this plus. I'm not sure which one it is. And then I have a bunch of vintage buttons in there. It's so cute. And then there's just like this little pocket that you make for the drawstring. And Barb also gave us, I'm pretty sure, if anyone else was there and remembers, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think she said these were buttons from her mother's button collection. And she passed around a big jar of buttons, and we each got to take 2. So that's a really sweet thing to have from Barb. Just tie that up. And then this is my drum. It's filled with crushed walnut shells. So I actually had to take it apart because I had a couple loose stitches on the top. And when I did that, I forgot to put the cotton lining back in. But I also noticed that I was supposed to stitch the top. So at some point, I still have my threads and everything in here. I'll probably stitch the top and just swap that out. It won't take long to do. But I'll show you my finish there. So pretty. I love the colors. And the bottom is this navy, and then the top I use that same lining fabric, and I just put a couple pins in it. It's so cute. I like having all these little needle rolls of different sizes and drums. So I have that one, and then the last one was the little 1/1 stitching, and I turned that into a needle book. And I put some backing fabric on it, that same navy. And then when it ties with this ribbon, and then when you open it, there's just some seam binding ribbon here, and use that to put a needle in. And then you just tie it closed. So I love little like projects like this. So I have a few things in my box for finishing some of the other things I want to do. So this chenille trim came with our kit, and I didn't use it, so I'm saving that for another project. But I found a fat quarter of this navy, which is what I use, so I'm going to keep that in there and see if I can find some other things to put in there. Then I just have some vintage trims and other goodies that I can use to finish those. And I'm just going to keep them all in my box here and just constantly add to my box. And I just think it's really fun to have that. Then I have another finish. This is a With Thy Needle and Thread. Let me find the pattern here. So this is a Sample Petite, and this is the first one. She's got two, but they're just these little tiny mini finishes, and you pop them into ready-made frames. Now the exact frames are no longer available, but I did go to Hobby Lobby and get mine, and I had no problems finding frames that were the same size. So I put one of them in this little round frame. And I just painted all my frames. I think these were originally white and I painted them black. And then there's this one. And this one. And then the big one. And this is just a standard 4x6 frame, I think. So pretty. Look at the colors. I did change out a lot of the colors to make them a little bit more pinky. And the initials that were in there, the M was gigantic. So I did have to kind of move a few things over. And my R just gets cut off a little bit. And then this frame came black and distressed like this. So I'll put a picture of them here of what they all look like together. They're so sweet. And then I have one last finish. So I started this a few years ago, and I stitch in bed a lot. And I had the pattern cover next to me, and then Henry lays on it and destroys them. So it's in kind of rough shape. But this is Token of Love. Brenda did designed this for her and her husband's 40th anniversary. I know because I read the chart. It's in the chart of why she designed this one. And so I thought it was fitting. Gary and I just celebrated on Valentine's Day our 25th wedding anniversary. So I finished this. And I painted mine blue. Brenda had hers painted in that kind of olivey color. Aqua blue, hello, is my favorite color. All my baskets, which you can't see with my kits right here, are all aqua blue too. And then I just distressed it a little bit. And then here's it's not really sitting in there. There went a drawer. But there's my finish. And it was a little bit bright. Let me just get that drawer. Okay, so I don't keep dropping drawers. I'm just going to pop this out. So some of the colors were a little bright, and I didn't read the directions first. If I would have, I believe she suggests coffee dyeing the Lugana before you start. So it's done with Weeks Dye Works. Weeks Dye Works is a color fast thread. So when I was done stitching it, these light blues, some of them, they're variegated. So some of them get really bright. And I just dunked the whole thing when I finished it in some coffee and just toned it down a little bit. And I love it. It's perfect. It is stitched 1/1 on 28 count Lugana. So it is deceiving how much stitching is in there. I was very tempted to take the two blues and do this dark blue and this the lighter blue and fill in the house. I think that would have been so cute. But if I didn't like it, I made a lot of mistakes on this. And because it's got this perfect border and these motifs that are kind of tightly set in, I pulled all the errors out. And stitched it correctly. So the idea of having to pull out all those threads, if I decided I didn't like it, I just left it. Leave well enough alone, I guess. But I think it would have been cute too. But yeah, I really love this. And then I'm going to put this little drawer unit on my desk to hold paper clips and things like that, and post-it notes. So I'm glad to have that finally done. So I have a couple projects that I have been working on. Now I have, I made this basket a couple years ago, and I have all of my, my little mini skeins from my Advent in here. And that's what I've been using to knit my stockings. I've just thrown all this stuff on top of it. But So that works really great. But for bigger projects, I like having open baskets versus some of the project bags sometimes because I can just see what's in there and it kind of motivates me to pick it up. So I decided to make a basket that's a little bit bigger. Now making is very easy, and I actually buy kit. I do have a lot of reed, but these were kits from Joanna's Basket. She's right here in Minnesota, so her shipping is really quick. She's very available via email. She'll answer your emails if you have any questions. But her instructions are excellent. So I've mentioned this before that I've bought baskets from her, so I will put a link for her down in the description box. And she even has like tutorials and things how to dye the baskets. You just do it with wood stain. I do them in the summer, but I painted this one on pretty thick out in the garage when it hit 40 one day, and then brought it in the house to dry. But it's just an oil-based wood stain, and it's nice for my bigger projects or for putting my little project bags in. I have a lot of bags with one sock, so yeah, so I just really like that. And then I have another, this one is not one I recently did. I did this one a few years ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. But another basket, that kit that she has this is my whip basket. I love this one. It came with the leather handles as well, which is really nice. And she's got them in different sizes. I actually have a great big one too, bigger than this, that I use for my wool. The leather comes to you tanned, so it's not dyed. It's just raw. So when you dye or you can leave it like that, but I dyed my basket, and this is just with like a Minwax like oak color, and the color picks up much darker in the leather. It's really pretty, and you weave these in and then dye it when you're all done. And I did it outside. I just bought a gallon of stain and poured that into a tote, and then dipped my basket and hung it on one of my flower basket hangers to dry. So that's how you can manage to get those stained. But she's got some excellent tutorials on her website as well. I'm trying to think if she's got a YouTube channel. I don't think she does. But so anyways, I'm just going to show you what I've been working on in my whip basket. So the first one, I've done a little bit of work. This is a Madame LaFay. And this one is kind of piddly and a lot of counting and a lot of color changes. So I didn't do too much on it, but I did get all of this down here done. I got some of this done over here. So I think I'm getting close to the halfway point. There's another window pane this side on that side. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Picture This Plus, and these are all DMC, and I'm using 2 strands on that. I don't mind using 2 strands. Oh, just fuzzies everywhere. We have this new wool blanket, and I really don't like it because it's shedding so much, but my husband loves it because it's so warm. But it's got these really long fibers everywhere, and it's like brushed, and it just gets on everything. It's so obnoxious. The other thing I've been working on is Across the Sea Sampler by Chessie and Me. So this is a new market release. It is the kit from the Country Sampler Retreat last summer, but Linda's releasing it now. I have them coming to me, and so I have these available on my website. It's so pretty. I love, love, love Linda's samplers. And this is where I am. So I have some of this. There's a lot over one. The verse is over one, and the people are over one. So I just do it little bits at a time. Linda uses a lot of specialty stitches. So this whole flag, the stripes are, what is that? A double cross stitch or 4? I can't remember what it's called, but let me show you a close up. And then there's a border of 4-sided stitch. That one goes a little slow for me because if I use a sewing method, it tends to balloon out the sides. So I use the stab and poke and stab, and that takes a little bit longer. I got all of this done here. It's so pretty. So I'm going to make this my focus piece for this summer after I finish Live on Little. But I would like to get this done by July 2. We'll see how that goes. Then I have a couple finishes that I need to get to the framers. And I took them out and pressed them so that I could take them in. I really love this, and I have a space on my wall already prepared for it, so I just need to get it in a frame. This is Carolyn Amelia Trowel by With Thy Needle and Thread, and this is using all the called for colors and the called for fabric, which is Antique Lace by Seraphim. The only change I made was to make these flowers pink, but it's so pretty. I love the soft colors in there. So I'd like to get that. I'll probably do that hopefully next week when I have an eye doctor appointment to get new glasses. So hopefully I'll remember to bring those with me so I can stop and get them framed. And then this one is Flag Folk by Not Forgotten Farm. And I'd like to have this on my wall for 4th of July this year. Or Memorial Day would be nice too. I love Michaels because they take 2 weeks to frame. It's so quick. I did call around last year to some other framers, and it was like 6 months. I just do not have the patience to wait for that. And I think I've mentioned in a previous video too, they have all the same frames that frame shops do. So you just have to go in and make sure that you talk to the framers and make sure there is someone that is at the shop that knows how to properly lace. I've had I had a really, really excellent framer, but she left Michaels. I was so bummed because her work was perfection. But this one I used all over dyes. I just kind of pulled them as I went. If I had to do over again, I would tone down that red a little bit. But then my fabric is murky, and sometimes you can get lighter pieces and sometimes you can get darker pieces. It's kind of always good to buy that fabric in person. I really liked the modeling on this, and this is actually stitched on a 32 count with 1 strand of floss, just one, and it still gives really good coverage. So, and did I say it's Picture This Plus Murky? So I love that, and I'd like to have that up on my wall this year. And then I have Liberty. This is a With Thy Needle and Thread. I thought that this would fit in a standard size frame. I don't know. It looks a little wide. I don't think it's going to. I may be able to get it into an 8x10. I don't know. I'll have to check. This is on Weeks Dye Works Gray, and it's the old Weeks, which I love. I love how a sampler looks on it because the linen looks old. I know a lot of people don't like it. I love it. So that one, I may take this one. These smaller seasonal ones, sometimes I'll just go to Stitchville, and a lot of times they carry a lot of odd-sized frames, and I've had a lot of luck finding the perfect matches because they just carry them in like every size. It's fantastic. And if not, I'm guessing Deb can probably order them. Then I have a couple of finishes that I've been really needing to do. This one was a market exclusive from a few years back by Lottie Da, and it's called like Blue Flower Pin Keep. I think it's available. I'm not quite sure. I would think I would have it if it was, but it may have been just a market release. But it's a drum, so it needs to be finished. And it'll be about this size. Isn't that cute? And there's a lot of extra fabric here, so I'm guessing that it would have been enough to do the bottom, but then the top. So I had gone and started finishing it, and I didn't really read the directions all the way through, so here's my circle drawn in, and that included the seam allowance. So that kind of stalled me, so I had to kind of start over. I just need to figure out how much the drum is going to what the circumference will be and then just redraw my line. You can see I haven't taken the time to do that. So I want to get that finished before my next video and get that taken care of. And then I also, this was another market release a few years ago. I'm not sure when, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Rose Bouquet Kit. I love her little kits. And these kits, they come with all the I think they come with usually with all the finishing fabrics, trims, and threads. And she only sells them as market kits. So she's got 3 this year, and I pre-ordered them, so they're up on my website. I love doing them. I have every one that she's done for probably the past 8 or 9 years. This one, really, I loved it. This little band is full coverage, and there it is. So I just want to get that finished. This has been done since the year it came out. And I just have not taken the time. So it came with the velvet and everything to finish it like this. And I believe this is finished with just some ribbon trim. I mean, it's really not that difficult. I need to get on that. Then some plans, some future starts. I love this. This is Chessie and Me. This has also been released, but I believe this was from the Quilter Station retreat. I love her little needle books and the little fob, or the little needle roll here, the little fob, and then the piece for the little paper mache house. So cute. I have another kit where she did the house. She's also got a fall one that she did for the last Quilter Station retreat. It's so pretty. I can't wait to get my hands on that one. Hopefully that'll come out this fall. But she did another one. Was it Patriotic? I don't remember. It's probably in my bin here. But let me see. So I don't have it in here, but she did another one similar to that for the Quilter Station retreat that I went to, and I really love all of them. I'd like to get them all done. So I have one other project that I say this every year that I want to get this done, but this is a Souvenirs of the Heart. I have stitched Autumn and Amana. It's the cutest, teeny tiniest little pin pillow. You stitch them over one. I mean, you don't have to stitch them over one. You can stitch them over 2. They'll just be a little bit bigger. But I want to stitch it over one. I'll probably use a linen this time. I'm not a huge Lugana fan. I just find it really thick and hard to see the holes. I think that linen, it's much easier to see the holes. So I'll probably stitch it on a linen. And then I'm going to see, I love these little frames of the Assembleur Petites that I did. So I'm going to see if I can find a little frame to put this in. I may have to maybe move things around a little bit. I don't know. There's not a lot of room to move stuff around, but I'm going to find a frame for it. Another place I may look is Country Sampler, or not Country Sampler, Stitchville again, because I know Deb has a lot of little tiny frames too. So, and then I can pop these frames. Pillows are hard for me. One, my dogs tend to really like them. And you can't really just set them somewhere. So I'm going to try and do a little bit more like drums and things where I can frame. And you can stick anything in a frame. You know, a little tiny frame, that's super cute. Okay, before I share my stitching plans with you, I wanted to just show you, I did get my my tree skirt top pieced. It's so pretty. And I don't think I can cut it. I still have another, I have a lot of fabric left over, and obviously I have bolts of fabric downstairs. So I have all these fabrics. I can make another one, which I think I'm going to for my tree skirt, but I think I'm going to use, because what you're supposed to do is cut this off right here and then cut a slit down here and a hole in the center. And I just think that this would look really cute just on my coffee table. So that's what I'll probably use this one for. Right now I have one that's really brightly colored, or I can also hang that on the wall. That would be really cute. And this is just more my color palette, a little bit more traditional versus the really bright. And then I can pass that one on to one of my daughters. And I also have a little wool applique snowman that I'm working on. This is what I do. I get everything to about 88% done. Um, and then I know what it's going to look like, and I kind of lose my mojo on it. But I have kits available for this one as well. It's on a really cute diamond textile fabric, and then the backing fabric that this gets attached to is red, and it's just the cutest little wall hanging. And all he needs are some buttons for his eyes and nose, and the holly gets 3 buttons here, and then he's pretty much done. Oh, and then there's some snowflakes that get embroidered, or that get appliqued on as well. But he's so cute. He just needs some facial features. And then this is an old finish. This is a Kim deal from her Simple Whatnots Club. I have a ton of kits still, and I need to start powering through some of them. It's just got a little bit of applique in the center. It's needle turn applique. It's so cute. And it's very dense and thick. You would think that these little quilts would be faster, but they are not. They are very putsy, and I like a good challenge, so I think they're really challenging and fun. And her directions are amazing. Like, I believe that I mean, as long as you watch your seam allowances and are really careful about that, I think a beginner could get this accomplished. If you go slowly and just follow the directions. And she even maps out like which fabric to use where. It's amazing. Then I just have one more knitting project to show you. So this was my Find Your Fade shawl. I showed it to you last time. I really struggled with this. I think I started it in like 2016. This is Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry of Andrea Ray Knits. This was all the rage back then. Everyone was knitting it, but I really struggled with the pattern. There was a part in it that didn't make sense to me that I believed was causing my error. I didn't compare the 2 patterns, but there was an update, and so I printed that one off. Because I restarted this probably like 15 different times. That's no joke. And I just could not get it to come out right. And when I reprinted it and started it again, and I changed all my colorways, I didn't have any problems with it at all. So I don't know if there was a change in the pattern that made it easier for me to understand. But this is where I was. This is my stitch marker. I left it in so I could show you my progress. And I ended up finishing it. So this was what I stitched on all of January. Now what you're supposed to do is use 7 colors and fade from one to the other. I ended up just using mini skeins because I thought it'd be a good way to burn through my mini skeins. But so you're supposed to kind of, it's called Find Your Fade. You're supposed to, you can see here where you do this color meld. And I did that with the first mini skeins and then quickly realized that I wasn't going to be able to do that with all the colors. And I actually probably should have put this color down here. And then it has these pretty lace sections in it. Let me see if I can find a dark color where you can see it. Well, there. So it has, but it's mostly stockinette stitch, so it's pretty easy. This has just been knitted. I haven't even tied in my ends yet, and I haven't blocked it. So this will really soften up and kind of bloom and relax a little once it's been blocked, but I'll try and show you. It's huge. At its widest point, once you get a full row, the entire thing is done basically from here and all the way to the end. It's 233 stitches on your needle, so it is a lot of stitching. So this is one row all the way to here. So this is one row right here, and that is several hundred rows of that. It's a lot. But so because I was using mini skeins, I just had to go with what I had. So I didn't love this purple, but this is just something I'm going to wear around the house. But it's huge. And it's got this nice little detail in it where it kind of makes a V. And the way I'm going to wear it, so we have propane here because we live out in the country, and we budget for it, because propane, if you buy it like off season, it's incredibly expensive. So most people either prepay, or there's like a budget plan where you pay monthly and you contract for a certain amount of gallons. So we get 1,200 gallons a year, and I'm always afraid if we run out, the price can triple or quadruple depending on what the market is doing and depending on what time of year. So you really do not want to run out, because it'll cost you a fortune, because when they come, they won't just give you a little bit, they fill your tank. So for that reason, I keep the heat around 65. It drops down to that at about 9 o'clock, and most nights I'm up stitching or knitting until around midnight. So this is wool, so it actually stays pretty toasty, and I can stay comfortable when it's really cool. It just covers my shoulders, and I usually have a heated blanket. I'm a freeze baby, so I don't know why I live here, because I don't know any different. That's why. So I just wrap myself in it, and it's really warm, and there's a lot of it, so you can really kind of tuck yourself in. And yeah, it's just an accomplishment to have this bad boy done, because it was a lot of knitting. So that's about it. I do have some plans for some things I want to stitch, and I have those in my whip basket here, and I'll just quickly go through a couple of these. So the first one is a Prairie Schooler, and I believe it's July. It's the month series, and I want to stitch this. So my friend Jamie, she comes to my retreats. She did an exchange, and she only stitched this area here, this kind of scenic area, and turned it into a little pillow, and it was the cutest thing. I'm tempted, very, very tempted to do that. Gosh, that is so tempting. But I had started it. Oh, oops, I have floss flying out. So I did start it. I'm doing it, I'm stitching it on a, I think it's like a 34 count legacy linen. Oh, here's a tag. Yeah, 34 count Cafe au Lait by Legacy. So I believe it's a Belgian linen. Belgian? Is that a horse? Or is that the country? I swear I get in front of this camera and I can't remember my own name. I actually once said that my birthday is in August, and it's not. It's in April. I had to edit that out. And by the way, this year I'm going to be 50 in 2 months. So, woo, woo, half a century old. Anyways, so this is a 34 count. So they have kind of odd counts. Instead of 36, they have 38. Instead of 32, they have 34. So I used 2 strands on it. It's very thick. It's kind of annoying to stitch. So I think I would prefer to do it with 1 strand. And I think I may, so I have plenty of fabric here. And I think instead of this kind of royal blue, I think I want to, teal it up a little bit like I like. So I think I'm going to restart that on this other side with just 1 strand. This linen is really beautiful though. It's got a beautiful feel to it, and it's not an over-dyed, but it's really pretty. So I've used this for a long time because I've been shopping at Stitchville for many, many years, and they carry it. I should get it in the shop because I do love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, and I think, and then I want to finish my Live on Little. I have 1 corner of the house to do and some fill-in. It's at the point where it's kind of difficult to stitch because it's just so big. I pulled it out the other day and it is so heavy. I just love that. I love how heavy it is from all the threads, and it's so big. That piece is really an accomplishment for me anyways, because I don't do huge samplers like that. So pretty. Then I have another Chessie and Me. It's called Let My Example Shine. It's so pretty. It's another needle roll. And I got this kitted up. So all my floss is in there. Look at those fun summer colors. And then inside, you stitch this for your needles. Yeah, so those are my plans. I do have a couple of quilting projects I want to complete as well. I have been working on a pattern by Under the Garden Moon, and I've shown it before. This is the sampler. So I'm doing mine the way she recommends. You could take like a fabric line if you have a fat quarter bundle, and you could absolutely do it like that. But I'm going to make mine super scrappy. Sorry for that glare. And so she also recommends organizing it the way that I have. So this is not my original idea here. She suggests putting them in these page protectors, and then every page has a pattern, and I just slip my pieces in there when my blocks are complete, so I can just kind of keep track of them. So she lists in her patterns the pieces that you need for like a rough cut, and that's how I've been going kitting them through, and I'm not reusing any fabrics. So every single block has a different fabric in it because I want it to be super scrappy. And I'm using some of my fabrics that I wouldn't necessarily love or put in a quilt, but when you have a lot of different fabrics, it just really works. And then some of my blocks I'm really going to love, like I love the colors. But and they're little, I think they finish out at 5 inches square. And there's like 45 of them or something. So this is how she suggests doing it. So I did a lot of the prep work is just getting this fabric together. It's a lot. So I'll just show you kind of how I have mine. And some of them use just a little bit of fabric, and some of them use a lot. Then I started getting sick of doing all that cutting, and then but I wanted to make sure I had, so I think I have a few blocks that still need fabric, but I can only do it for so long. So these are now getting into, I just found a fat quarter and shoved them in the pocket. There's a couple fat quarters, and I also dug into my layer cakes because those are great for this project. I have my favorite blocks are coming up. I love this. So pretty. These are all layer cakes. So pretty. There's my favorite. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. I think I might be close to having the blocks kitted up. So normally in a couple hours, I can usually get 5 or 6 blocks done with no problem. So I think a good weekend or 2, and I should be able to get the blocks complete. But then there is a lot. Let me just show it to you again. Oh, this is so heavy. There is a lot of applique on here. So all of these leaves, the flag, all of these leaves, and the house. The flowers are blocks, I believe. Oh, no, they aren't. Oh, whoa. This is really heavy. So there are some flower blocks in here that are applique as well. So there are some flower blocks in here that are applique as well, and then these applique flowers at the bottom. So I have no illusions about getting that done this year, but I definitely want to make a dent in it, and I would like to get to the applique by this summer. We'll see. I always have such big plans. I'm hoping, what I've been doing is, actually a couple weeks ago I went and like fast forwarded through my last video to figure out the lies I told you. And then I finished some of those projects. So it was a really good motivator for me to get a couple of those things done that I said I was going to do. The lies we tell on Flosstube videos about the things we're going to accomplish. And then I was, when I was going through all my Martingale Press books, I came across one of my Blackbird books. I think this might still be somewhat available. I don't know. I didn't really check. But I love Blackbird quilting books because it usually has like a cross stitch project, a wool applique project, a rug hooking project, and quilting projects. So it just hits all the bells and whistles for me. But there is a quilt in here that is stunning. I'm not going to start it this year, but it's so pretty. I put a little marker in there. I love the colors in there. Oh, they're just so pretty. And I'm trying to find a really good project for my Joe Morton Adamstown bundle that I have. It is her, it's going to be her last line. She's officially retired. So, oh, it's so sad. It's a good line though, and I have a lot of it. So I'm going to try and find, it's more autumnal colors. It's a lot of darks. There's a lot of oranges in it, a lot of browns, some blacks and reds, and then creams. They're just so beautiful. So I'd really like to get some of those done. I was thinking maybe this pillow, and as big as that looks, I think this one may actually, I could probably get a good chunk of this done. So here's the beauty of this one. The branches and the basket, it's all like just large rickrack, like 1/2-inch rickrack. So it would be kind of a pain, but not as much of a pain as some small stems of fabric. But I think that's really pretty. And you see the pillow around it too is like a giant rickrack. So, and they give like very specific directions on how to dye it even. I don't think I'd dye it. I think I'd just use Lady Dot. But then there is also this quilt, which is so pretty. And I have no plans of doing this rug, but I wanted to show it to you. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here's the picture of the rickrack. And the basket as well. So pretty. Okay, let me show you this rug because it is stunning. Oh, you know what? There's also this heart project that I wanted to finish and complete for my Valentine projects. I probably changed the flowers to, well, maybe I'd leave them pink. I was thinking maybe more of a red. But look at this rug. Isn't that beautiful? I need to get better at rug hooking so I can tackle a big project like that. But so I think that concludes this video. I'm about an hour and 20 minutes in. We'll see how I can edit it down. But thank you so much for spending some time with me, especially, I don't know, did you hear that? If you made it to the end. And I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.